I think we're a little short, probably, on sharing with our people the radicality of our faith. You all come and we'll drink coffee and bean torta and these kind of delicious things. That's nice. But we're involved in a very radical faith that Luther lifted up in the Reformation that I think we miss. The practice of love and how expensive that can be and how difficult that is. It's not just being nice, is it? It's being just, and it's standing against what probably has become, like in Luther's day, has become standard. And once the standard is established, it's very difficult to break down. But that's what happened at the Reformation, right?
Here we are in the 500th anniversary of the Reformation, and we're kind of going back to what she did to remind us of our roots. Reading along, and she was talking about her own experience of having grace drawn her into the church. And then she talked about the first year of seminary where there was a visiting professor who had came to speak to them, and they were all really tuning this professor out. He had come to talk about some theologian, and they were all just totally disinterested. And apparently she said that the whole class was like that, and in desperation he slammed his books shut and then went to the blackboard and he drew this great big arrow pointing down, and then said, if you understand that, you understand everything you need to know about being a Christian who happens to also be Lutheran. And then he walked out of the room. And like Kelly Fryer says, when she thought about the environment in which he was trying to communicate and things were going poorly, she thought that arrow simply meant that they were all going to go to hell. But then I guess apparently the next time they gathered for the class, he went to the board and drew the cross, and this time everybody's paying attention. He said, I want to tell you what this means. He said, this means God always comes down. I mean, he always comes down. There's no way you can turn that arrow around and go up to God. And God came down in Jesus, and he's still coming down in the Word and the sacrament and in the water and in the community of believers. And that story, as Kelly says, and I think I agree with her, is foundational. He says that kind of everything else is adiaphora, to the side. We keep focus on that wonderful gift of grace for which our world is so hungry.
I think the big challenge is to accept that it's not Europeans that are immigrating to Canada or are the refugees, right? People who are coming with different faith experiences, and how do we become partners with them in ministry, in healing the world that we live in with the situations around war and violence, misogyny, those kinds of things. I think we've got to work really hard at developing partnerships that help people be able to have a safe life here in Canada, but to develop as good citizens, but as good human beings who live out God's work in the world here. And so I think we have to work much harder at that. I think that's a big challenge. When I think about my visit to Wittenberg and hearing a bit of the story, to know that Luther started schools where girls could go to school and girls would become literate and they would become educated to live and to have a stronger vocation in their local communities, in the world. We need to work with that again. That's still a challenge for us today, to look to people who are different than us and see them as human beings who are partners with us. I think that's a big part of our baptismal call, and we need to do some work on that. It's really been a big challenge.